Hello everyone and welcome to Coach Craig's Sports. This is the NBA DFS Core Pick video for today, Tuesday, December 12th. If you're joining me for the very first time, this is how today's video will be structured. We'll be going over a recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they ultimately ended up turning out for last night's slate. Hopefully you guys got a catch of that updated core yesterday. There was a few changes that happened throughout the day, and then we'll get moved over to the injuries and play for today's slate. It's a 5-game main slate in total. There are 6 teams on back-to-back, so we won't have a ton of injury reports on them until probably an hour from the time of this recording at the very least. So I will be leaving injury updates down in the comments throughout the day, especially as they do come out, because that's going to change a lot on today's slate overall. Then we'll get moved over to DraftKings and FanDuel and talk about my core picks for today. So it's going to be one player at each position, so point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. But without further ado, we'll get into that recap from yesterday's picks. So we're going to start off on the DraftKings side with Kobe White, $7,300, looking for 37 points. Got to 50.5, so he was a hit on yesterday's slate. A pretty good one at that as well. He's played really well as of late. And then at shooting guard, we ultimately ended up on Jaden Hardy. We moved a couple times around throughout the day, but Jaden Hardy here at $4,400, looking for 22 out of him, got 28.5, so he was a hit as well. And then at small forward, we have Bojan Bogdanovic, played 34 minutes yesterday, $6,500, was looking for 33 out of him, only got 27.75. He ultimately ended up being a mess, mainly scoring dependent yesterday, 5 for 14 from the field, didn't do too much else besides a couple steals, so just kind of unfortunate there. And then at power forward, we had Victor Wembanyama at $8,800, looking for 44 points. Got to 51.5, so he was a really good hit on yesterday's slate as well. And then last but not least, we had Isaiah Hartenstein at center. He was $4,600, looking for 23 points. Got 29. He ultimately ended up being a hit. I know probably some people were a little bit concerned once Jericho Sims did get announced as the starter, but we have to remember back to last season, even when Mitchell Robinson did miss time, it was Jericho Sims often being the starter, and then Hartenstein coming off the bench, and Hartenstein still getting the bulk load of the minutes. So pretty good day overall on DraftKings yesterday. As long as you had some other solid picks, had a pretty easy chance of cashing. And then on the FanDuel side, we had Kobe White once again, $7,300, looking for 37 points. Got to 47.2, so he was a hit. And then at shooting guard, we ultimately ended up on Jaden Hardy as well. $3,900 was a really good value there yesterday on the FanDuel side. Looking for 19-20 got 26, so he was a good hit. And then at small forward, we have Bojan Bogdanovic once again, $6,200, looking for 31 got to 28.2. So once again, he was a mess, kind of just scoring dependent yesterday. Just mainly scored that basketball, 5 for 14 from the field. Got a couple steals in there, but not much else otherwise. So guy that really didn't help our lineup, but he was also a guy that didn't kill our lineup at the same time. Then at power forward, we ultimately went with Isaiah Hartenstein, $4,900, looking for 25 points got 30.6, so he was a hit. And then at center, we had Orlando Robinson once again. Probably going to have to move off him in future games just because he's not playing as big of minutes. And, it was always a spot where they could go a little bit smaller too. So $5,400, looking for 27 got 22.2. So technically he was a mess, only played 22 minutes in that game last night. But as long as you had some other solid plays on FanDuel, still probably had a decent shot of cashing overall. Me, myself, personally, I had some Luka Doncic exposure. I can't remember who else I played on FanDuel, but ultimately ended up doubling up, even though, there was a couple lackluster performances out of Bogdanovic and Orlando Robinson yesterday. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to those injuries in play for today's slate overall. So once again, it is a 5-game main slate starting at 7:30 Eastern time. There are 6 teams on back-to-back, so not really going to talk too much about them. We'll have all those updates down in the comments below, though. So we start off with the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're on the back-to-back. We'll see who ultimately ends up playing for them. Obviously, we know Rubio's out. Probably most of these guys are out. Evan Mobley, we'll see whether or not he's back tonight, as well as Karis LeVert, but Ty Jerome probably out once again. And then on the Boston Celtics side, all the way healthy at this point in time. So for Los Angeles Lakers, Gabe Vincent's out once again. Hood Schifino will join him tonight. And then we have Jared Vanderbilt questionable due to a back injury now. So it's a little bit different than his heel injury. We'll see whether or not he plays or not. If he doesn't play, it probably just means more solidified minutes for guys like Torian Prince and Rory Hachimura. And then we have LeBron James listed as questionable due to that calf. He's probably playing once again. And same thing with Anthony Davis listed as questionable due to the hip, but probably be playing as well. Then on the Dallas Mavericks side, they are on the back-to-back, so we'll see what happens with these injuries. It could open up a ton of value on this team overall. We do know Maxi Kleber and Josh Green both going to be out. Grant Williams probably out once again. Derek Jones got hurt last night. Kyrie Irving's probably out tonight. And then Tim Hardaway Jr. popped up last night with those back spasms, so we'll see if that's still affecting him today or not. Then for the Denver Nuggets, the big one that we're just going to be watching on the back-to-back today is whether or not Jamal Murray plays or not. It sounds like he tweaked his ankle a little bit last night too, but was able to play through it. So they'll probably just take it safe and start Reggie Jackson tonight. But, I wouldn't be surprised if Jamal Murray goes out and plays either at the same time. Then for the Chicago Bulls, they are also on the back-to-back. Zach LaVine's out till January, so we know he's not playing tonight. And then Alex Caruso did ultimately end up missing last night's game. We'll see whether or not he's good to go tonight or not. Then we move down to the Golden State Warriors. Gary Payton is out once again. Looks like Chris Paul will be back after dealing with an illness. He was listed as probable earlier today, but not even listed there now at this point in time. And then for the Phoenix Suns side, we got Nazir Little, Damon Lee, Grayson Allen, all this is out. Kevin Durant listed as questionable due to his ankle injury, but they do get Bradley Beal back for tonight's game. So this might be the first time we see all three of these guys actually play together, assuming that Kevin Durant is able to go tonight. If he's not able to go, probably either going to be Keta Bates-Diop or Josh Okogie entering that starting lineup. Then last but not least, we get over to the Sacramento Kings on the back-to-back as well as the Clippers. So not too much that we know out there. Alex Len's probably out once again. Mason Plumlee we know is out for quite some time. And then on the Clippers side last night, we saw Bones Highland and Diabate both end up missing, but neither one are a major part of the rotation either way. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown on all the injuries in play for today's slate. Like I said, there's 16 on back-to-backs. Injury report typically comes out, around 1:30 Eastern time. So we'll have those updates as the day moves along. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my core picks over there. So we're going to start off at the point guard position with Kobe White. We played him yesterday. He was really good. He's played really well as of late. So $7,200 price tag, looking for 36 out of him. It's kind of a misprice at this point in time because he's been going 38, 40 more times than not. A little bit slower pace matchup here versus the Denver Nuggets. Probably one of the slowest pace matchups you're going to get all season between the Nuggets and the Bulls. They are two teams that do like to play pretty slow, so it kind of affects them a little bit there. But I still have him currently projected for 38 fantasy points tonight and looking like one of the better point per dollar players on tonight's slate overall. Then at shooting guard, we're going to go with Jaden Hardy once again, $4,600, kind of assuming that a lot of the Mavericks guys are going to be out once again. So do like the upside that he has. Had a pretty strong performance yesterday. Looking for 23 out of him. Currently, I'm projected for 25, 26 tonight. Maybe even ends up in that starting lineup, just with another injury out there in Derrick Jones Jr. But at this point in time, it's kind of hard to speculate what's going to happen with that Mavericks team overall. But definitely do like the upside that he does present today overall. And then at small forward, we're going to go with DeMar DeRozan, playing really well as of late. It's kind of that pace down spot versus the Nuggets once again. So Chicago Bulls, Denver Nuggets both going to play pretty slow. Looking for 41 out of him. Currently, I'm projected for 42. He's been putting up some pretty big performances as of late, especially with no Zach LaVine out there. So him and Kobe White looking pretty good tonight. And then at power forward, we're going to go to Kawhi Leonard, $8,000, looking for 40 points now. I'm averaging just under 41 on the season. Currently, I'm projected for 42 tonight. Goes against the Kings. Should be a very favorable matchup. Has a really, really strong upside. He played really well. I believe it was his most recent game as well. So Kawhi Leonard is probably going to be a guy that's pretty popular, at least to start off the day. Maybe as the value opens up, then more people get to Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic. But at least early on today, Kawhi Leonard is going to look like a great value overall. And then at center, we're going to go with the Ivica Zubac at $6,200. Looking for 31 points now. I'm averaging 28 on the season. Pace up spot tonight versus the Kings. There has been times this year where the Clippers have closed small, but going against the Kings and Domantas Sabonis out there, they're going to need a big body out there, and Zubac's played really big minutes as of late and played really well. So currently I'm projected for about 32. Definitely has a little bit of upside for more as well. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you got $15,800 remaining, just under $5,300 per player. So at least kind of early on, maybe a little bit more balanced looking build. But as the day moves along, we should get some value opening up, whether it's the Dallas Mavericks or one of these other teams on the back-to-back today overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my core picks over there as well. So once again, we do get Kobe White at that point guard position, $7,300. Pace down spot versus the Nuggets, but he's played extremely well as of late. His price tag probably should be closer to $8,000 at this point in time, $7,800 at the very least. So at $7,300, looking for 36, 37 fantasy points out. I'm projected for about 37, 38 tonight. So definitely has some pretty strong upside. He's played really well as of late. As long as that continues today, going to look like a really good option overall. And then at shooting guard, we're going to go down to Malik Monk, $5,600. Going against the Clippers tonight. He's played extremely big minutes as of late, looking for 28 points out. I'm averaging 27 on the season. He's been playing about 28 minutes a night. A guy that is a very, very good fantasy point per minute guy. So do have him projected for about 29 tonight. Has a ton of upside for more, especially if he's going out there and playing those bigger minutes once again. Then in small forward, we just went with a paydown option today. Torian Prince, $6,200. Obviously, if Jared Vanderbilt doesn't play, it means bigger minutes for Prince and Rui Hachimura just in general. and most likely Taurean Prince would be in that closing lineup. At $4,200, looking for 21 points out. I'm currently having projected right around that today, 20 to 21. So just kind of a cheaper value option there. If you see a little bit down lower, going to Jokic at center. So just kind of wanted a cheaper guy to go around here. Decent matchup versus the Mavericks. They typically play a little bit slower, but with some of these younger guns playing, maybe they play just a little bit quicker than they normally do. Maybe this is a little bit more favorable game for the Lakers just in general, but you do have a little bit of risk of blowout there. It just kind of depends on who ultimately ends up starting for the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Then at power forward, we're going to go with Aaron Gordon. He's $6,200, looking for 31 points out. I'm averaging about 30.5 so far in the season. It's a slow matchup tonight versus the Bulls. Probably should be a pretty favorable one for him, assuming that he does end up playing. Like, they could rest him on the back-to-back because he did have the heel injury where he missed about 4 games in a row. He's been back for 3, I believe, now at this point in time. So there is a little bit of risk there, but as long as he's playing, he's going to look pretty good. Currently, I'm projected for about 32 fantasy points tonight. And then last but not least, we're going to Nikola Jokic. $12,300, looking for 61, 62 out of him. Essentially, what has been average on the season so far. A little bit of a pace down spot versus the Bulls, but the Bulls defense is not very good whatsoever. So should be kind of able to have his way with them tonight. Currently, I'm projected for 62 fantasy points on the FanDuel side overall. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $24,400 remaining. $6,100 per player, so looks a little bit more like a balance build type of day on the FanDuel side. But once again, injury updates coming out throughout the day, all these teams on the back-to-back, so there will be some value that does open up as the day moves along. But with that being said, these are my core picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today, December 12th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. I do ask that you please note whether those questions are more FanDuel or DraftKings specific, just so I can best help you as quickly and efficiently as possible. And then, as always, I will be leaving all the injury updates down in the comments, as well as the starting lineups throughout the evening. And then about 15 to 20 minutes prior to lock, I'll leave my updated core as a pinned comment. If there's any changes after that point in time, I will leave them as a reply to the pinned comment as well. Hopefully you guys got a chance to look at that updated core yesterday, because it probably helped your lineups out in a pretty big way overall. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking it out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now we have NBA DFS in terms of the core pick videos Monday through Friday. And then we have NFL DFS player pool video typically on Saturdays, typically coming out late morning, early afternoon. So definitely be on the lookout for that, as well as my NFL DFS cheat sheets for both FanDuel and DraftKings over on the Sports Affiliation website. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Prize Picks, and Parlay Play. If you are a brand new user to any one of those 3 sites, when you make your first deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's up to $100. So if you put $10 in, they'll match it with $10. If you put $100 in, they'll match it with $100. If you put more than $100 in, they'll match with $100 once again. And then for BetUS, it's 125% of your initial deposit. So if you put $10 in, you'll get $12.50. If you put $100 in, you get $125, and that's all the way up to $2,500 over there. And then if you have any questions related to sports betting or relating to prop betting in general, be sure to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comments or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in NBA DFS tonight.